fantasy football rankings, and we're going over our top 20 wide receivers. This video is going to be 11 through 20. Coming in at number 11, we're talking about Deebo Samuel. I think Deebo Samuel is clearly the #1 wide receiver for the 49ers. I know Brandon Aiyuk still may be on the team as of the recording of this video, but let's just remember, just a few years ago, Deebo Samuel was the man for this offense, and probably because he has such a high floor, because he has so many rushing abilities. He runs the ball very efficiently, which gives you a nice floor at the wide receiver position. He ends up missing some time. Aiyuk ended up taking advantage, becoming the man last season. I think it's going to be a lot different in 2024. I think we definitely see Deebo Samuel go back as the guy for this offense. I think Brock Purdy's going to give him plenty of opportunities to succeed, even with McCaffrey, even with Kittle, even with Aiyuk on the field, and newly wide receiver from Florida, Ricky Pearsall. I think Deebo Samuel will be the man. I'm very, very high on him. I think ADP as of right now is a little too low on him. I'm taking him on all types of best ball drafts as we speak, right? So Deebo Samuel is somebody clearly in my 11th. It could be in my top 10 before the beginning of the season starts. I'm really that high on this guy. Let's move right along here to number 12. Going over his teammate with Brandon Aiyuk. Yes, he is a good route runner. Yes, he wants to get paid. And yes, he plays for a high-powered 49ers offense. So Brandon Aiyuk, I know a lot of people may have him above Deebo Samuel. In my rankings, I just can't put Aiyuk as #1 over Deebo Samuel. He's going to have to be a little bit more consistent as far as being the #1 guy on this offense year in and year out for me to even put him over there. In most leagues, Deebo Samuel actually scored more fantasy points last year than Brandon Aiyuk. Yes, Aiyuk had more receiving yards, but not more fantasy points. So if we're talking about overall fantasy wide receiver, I still have to go with Deebo Samuel at #1. Brandon Aiyuk still a good opportunity, good pass catcher. He's going to be getting plenty of opportunities if he's with the 49ers. We'll have to see how the season ends up. He could end up with another team. I know rumored maybe of the Commanders, something like that. Then I'll probably be a lot higher on Brandon Aiyuk. But as of right now, being on the 49ers, I think he is going to be the #2 wide receiver for this offense. Had to put him here at number 12. Going over number 13, I'm going to talk about Chris Olavi, the clear #1 wide receiver for the New Orleans Saints. They definitely fixed the offensive line problems that they had. I think Derek Carr is going to have a lot more time to throw the football, which is going to give Chris Olavi more down the field opportunities. He's a good down the field kind of streaker kind of guy. I mean, he could do some good PPR stuff, some good quick slants, out routes, things like that he does, but he needs to be able to hit those bombs as well, not just Rashid Shaheed. Chris Olavi can do that. I'm super high on Olavi. I think he's going to end up shocking a lot of people. Should break his record so far, his personal record for all-time yardage this season. I think the Saints offense got a lot better in the offseason. I think going towards fantasy relevance for everybody, I mean, he could easily slot in as a top 10 wide receiver before the end of this season as well. We're just gonna have to wait and see. I'm really, really high on Chris Olavi. That's why I had to put him at number 13 for me. Let's move right along here. Number 14, I'm gonna talk about Michael Pittman Jr. Got himself a new quarterback in Anthony Richardson. He's gonna be healthy and strong starting the season. Michael Pittman got himself a new contract. He is gonna be the man for this offense. A good PPR guy, a good solid safe floor type of guy. Doesn't really have a huge ceiling in my opinion, but he has such a high floor. He's going to be very, very consistent for you week in and week out. I know they got a Donai Mitchell, which I'm super excited about him, the rookie out of Texas. They still got Josh Downs. They still got Alec Pierce, and they got a healthy Jonathan Taylor in the backfield. This offense, I believe, is going to be super, super potent, as you guys saw in my quarterback rankings. I had Anthony Richardson as my #2 quarterback, and in order for him to do that, not only is he going to have a lot of rushing yards and rushing touchdowns, but he's going to have to throw the football, and there's going to be one person out there catching most of the balls for him. That's going to be Michael Pittman. I easily have him at number 14 for me. Move right along here. Number 15, I'm going Mike Evans. Mike Evans shown that he can be resilient, right? 1,000 yard receiving in every single season that Mike Evans has been a part of right now. I was one of the haters. I'm not going to lie. When Baker Mayfield came to town, I said, that's it for Mike Evans. He's a bust. He's a fade. Well, you know what? I'm eating my words. I'm eating the crow. Mike Evans is consistent until he shows any sign of decrease to me. I have to keep putting Mike Evans into my top 15 wide receivers. He's just that good. And for fantasy relevance, he's consistent for you. He's a good wide receiver to have on your team because you know each and every week he can provide some nice type of floor for you to get consistent, solid fantasy points. Had to easily put him in here. We're going over at number 16 now. I'm gonna have to go Devonte Adams, and I hate putting Devonte Adams so low on my rankings. The problem is the quarterback position and this overall offensive scheme and what's gonna happen with the Raiders. Is it gonna be Gardner Minshew? Is it gonna be O'Connell? We don't know who the starting quarterback is gonna be. If I had to guess, probably be Gardner Minshew. And yes, Minshew can provide nice fantasy stats, but there's a cap with Gardner Minshew, right? We're not saying that Gardner Minshew's out here throwing like a Patrick Mahomes. He's going to throw out there like Gardner Minshew. And you could see things like maybe a Michael Pittman type of role in Devonte Adams this season. It's just going to be just good enough to make him fantasy relevant, but not necessarily a top 10 type of wide receiver, maybe not even a top 15 wide receiver. That's why I have him here at 16. Move right along here, number 17, a wide receiver I'm not crazy about. That's DJ Moore. And I'm not crazy about DJ Moore, not because of his talent. I think he's got a ton of talent. It's just the offense with the Chicago Bears. I think there's just so many mouths to feed right now with Keenan Allen coming over. He's going to demand the football. We got Rome Odunze, the highly touted top 10 wide receiver out of Washington. He's going to demand some targets. We still got Cole Kmet there. Got the newly acquired DeAndre Swift over there as well. There's just a lot of mouths to feed, right? DJ Moore is one of those guys. He could take any 1-yard hitch to the house. I completely get it, but is Caleb Williams going to be up to the NFL standards quickly? A lot of people think he can. It's all going to hinge on that. Can he keep multiple wide receivers fantasy relevant? That is the big question. I'm not sold on that right now. I had to put him here at number 17. Come here at number 18, another wide receiver I'm probably too low on, but that's going to be Nico Collins, somebody I absolutely love. But when you add somebody like Stephon Diggs to the mix, it can only hurt your fantasy production. I think for the NFL, this team is explosive. Gotta love having all these weapons. But when you got Stephon Diggs, Nico Collins, and you got Tank Dell on the offense, they re-signed Dalton Schultz, they got Joe Mixon in the backfield, it's completely loaded on offense. I think CJ Stroud definitely can have multiple wide receivers and provide fantasy relevance for these guys. It just kind of caps the ceiling. Yes, I'm still high on Nico Collins, and I think he's going to have a very good fantasy season. The thing is that his ceiling is just a little bit capped with the addition of Stephon Diggs. Had to put him in here at number 18 for me. Moving right along here at number 19, we're going over DK Metcalf, and I love the red zone opportunity with DK Metcalf. What happens with Pete Carroll going away? Are we going to see a more run heavy, maybe 2 running back style of offense? Are we going to see them completely go to the 3 wide receiver sets and really feed these guys? In my opinion, I think they're going to really throw the football quite a bit. I think it's going to be similar to last season as far as just making Kenneth Walker the main running back there. Charbonnet is going to be just taking those backup roles, and they're just going to be passing the wide receiver to the wide receivers in a 3 wide receiver set for most of these games. Look for JSN to be a lot higher as well. Tyler Lockett got himself a little bit new of a contract, but he's getting older in age. And then you have DK Metcalf, a big physical specimen who is very good in the red zone. He's going to get you plenty of touchdowns, plenty of opportunities to have a nice fantasy relevant season. I like DK Metcalf at number 19. And then coming here last but not least at number 20, we're talking about Jalen Waddle. Jalen Waddle, a wide receiver who I think is being kind of capped right now, but having a Tyreek Hill on the field. The thing is, Tyreek Hill is so explosive, right? He could take 1 or 2 plays, take that to the house, and then the whole series is over. The opportunities for Jalen Waddle just isn't there on a consistent basis for me. Yes, he still has very solid fantasy games. Sometimes he blows up in some of these games, but some games it looks like he's completely absent. So I had to drop him here at number 20. He's just not as consistent as far as a floor for me week in and week out. So I just want you guys to be aware of something like that. Guys, just very, very quick. This is my 11 through 20. My top 20 wide receiver rankings are now complete. Be on the lookout for a top 20 tight end ranking videos coming out very, very soon as well. Make sure you guys are hitting the subscribe button, hitting the like button, and leave a comment down below. What do you guys think about my top 20 overall wide receiver rankings? What would you guys do as far as who you think should be higher, who should be lower? Let me know in the comments below, guys. We're really close to 1,000 subscribers. If you're not currently subscribed, do us all a favor, do yourself a favor, hit the subscribe button. We're pumping out multiple videos each and every week. We're also doing live streams every single Tuesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Come along, we're doing best ball stuff. Ask some questions in the chat. I'd love to see you go down. And we're giving out free tickets for our tournament over there as well. So hit us up there, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on every single Tuesday. But guys, I can't wait to see you guys on the next video. We'll see you guys next time.